just figured I'd send you a quick one. So this is something that kind of helped me out, just finding the fulcrum. So before you even like play a stroke, I guess I'm playing strokes right now, but you know what I mean, before you actually hit normal, just try to find, you know, for me, it's like somewhere in that region. So once you have that, then basically you're using the drumstick in the most optimal way. I mean, I don't usually do that because I can just feel when I grab the stick. But I know this helped me when I first started kind of like getting into technical stuff and like really focusing on details of drumming. This helped me to like find where the grip, where I thought the grip was originally was. I thought the grip was kind of like more up here, you know, because I see people playing and they're like gripping the stick way up high to make the stick lighter on the top end. But then I saw a lot of people playing the stick like way back here too, and I'm like, well, what is it? Is it? And then it kind of depends on what you're comfortable with. But there is a spot on the drum, on every drumstick. It's going to be different depending on the weight of the stick, type of drumstick, you know, the length of the stick and all that stuff. So the balance point is going to be different for every drumstick. But for the most part, you know, the drumstick is weighted on the front, or it's actually weighted in the back, sorry. So like if you take the drumstick and just go like this, you would think it'd be balanced on both sides, but really it's weighted on the back because they want you to grab the stick towards the back, and then now the drumstick bounces, right? So that's one thing that really helped me out to kind of like, because when you're playing, you know, you want to try to like do less work, you know what I mean, like no matter what you're playing. So this kind of helps to like use the drumstick at the most efficient angle, I guess, or the best grip. And then another thing that really helped me out too, this is something I use like whenever I play, you know, people grab drumsticks and they approach the surface of the drum, usually the snare drum, and they approach it like this with like a very flat, like the drumstick is just like there's no angle, there's none of this going on, right? So that's what you want to have when you play drums, is you want to have, you don't want the sticks to be completely flat like this, because then you're having to pick the drumstick up and you're using so much extra energy to do that, right? So if you do this just a little bit, I mean, you don't have to go like this, but if you just have the drumstick kind of like, so this is kind of like your starting position, then you have the ability to, because from here, think about it, you can just drop the drumstick. So you're already limiting, or you're already minimizing effort by just doing that, rather than having it here. Look, I can't even drop, the stick doesn't bounce if I do this. So if I'm up here, you know, so then from here, I'm just dropping the drumstick to get a drum roll. Same thing with the double stroke. I'm just dropping the stick, you know, from right here, and then all I have to do is just get 2 bounces. I mean, look how easy that is. You know what I'm saying? So, same thing, paradiddle. I'm just dropping the stick from like right here. I can get multiple bounces, and all I have to do for a double stroke is get 2 bounces, right? So another thing having to do with a double stroke is you have a drop, and then you have a pickup note. So you drop the stick, and then your stick comes like that in your hand, and then you're just going to literally, so you're coming down, the drumstick is coming up, right? So I'm starting here, I'm coming down, and then look, I'm coming back up, and I'm just closing my grip. So really it's just one motion, which brings me to the next thing, which is consecutive eighth notes with both hands at the same time using this drop technique. So this is what it's going to look like. One and two and three and four, and so basically I'm doing down, up, down, up, down, up. I'm doing that same thing with the, but I'm just not doing like a double, like I'm making this into a consecutive motion, right? So against a quarter note foot tap. So I'm doing groups of 2 notes, right? Down, up, 1, 2. Now you could also do that in groups of 3, so then that would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Look at the right hand. So when I do the double, it's down, up. So the hand motion is down for the first stroke, down, and then up, right? And that's just a perpetual motion. I'm just keeping that motion the same the whole time. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now if you want to do 3 strokes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be a little bit different then. Now you have down, up, up. Okay, so down, up, down, up. Notice that my fingers, so I'm kind of like, the downstroke is I'm gonna let the stick bounce, and then I'm gonna pick the stick back up. So if you do it over a quarter note pulse, you're gonna have a 3/2 kind of thing going on. Polyrhythm. Or with 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or with 3. But it's always being driven by that initial accent. Whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you can do this, the stick will bounce a lot of times, right? That's like 9 strokes right there. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're never going to need 9 strokes, but I'm just saying, like, you can use that. But it always starts with the initial accent or the dropping of the stick. If it's 2 strokes, it's the drop and then the pick back up. And then do it with both hands. Try to not flam. It's not flams, it's unison notes, right? It should sound like one stick. It's going to be a little bit louder because you got 2 sticks hitting at the same time, but... So then a good exercise would be go back and forth between 2 and 3. So 2, okay, and then 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. As you can see, like, since there's an uneven amount of notes with the 3, you have to, like, add an extra beat in if you want to stay on the downbeat, whereas the second time I went through that, I don't know if you saw it, but it switches to the offbeat. So if you want to keep it on the downbeat, it's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. Right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2. So, those are some things that might help you out. Another thing that you really want to get into, this became a long video, fuck it, who cares, it's finger technique, okay? So finger technique is not wrist technique, okay? Finger technique is you're going to hold the sticks differently than you would normally hold the sticks. Like, normal grip is going to be palm facing down, right? This is what you're going to use when you play drums. You know, you're not really going to use on the drum kit. Some people play with the finger technique when they play when they play drums. But the only time I use finger technique on the drums is maybe when I do some hi-hat stuff or when I play the ride or the floor tom. But mainly I'm playing palm down, right? But I'm still utilizing finger technique. But the way that you isolate finger technique is to have your, instead of having palm down, you kind of have more of like palm up, right? Or thumb up. You know, if you think about it like that, like your thumb is in the up position, not the sideways position, right? So this is, and then finger technique is just, you're finding the fulcrum first. So find your fulcrum, and then you're going to balance the stick between your index finger and your thumb on both sides, right? So find your fulcrum, right? And then now all you're doing is you're propelling the stick with your other 3 fingers, because your thumb and your index finger are, in a sense, they're kind of like providing the fulcrum, the balance point, and then these 3 fingers are pulling up, right? So you don't want to have any wrist motion. So a good way to, when you start this, take your hand, your left hand, and make it so that your wrist, your arm cannot move. You know what I mean? You don't want this. That's not finger technique. This is finger technique. It's just propelling the stick with the fingers. So you're gonna start to feel it all across right here, because you know you can see my muscles in my hand. Maybe not because the light's kind of shitty in here, but anyways, this is kind of the vibe. You know, you start slow. You know, you can even do unison notes if you just want to kind of like get the feel for it. But you can see I'm just trying to use finger technique, right? So then start, you know, just do singles. You don't need to do doubles for finger technique. You're just trying to build up. You're trying to build up those fingers so that when you play your regular grip, now you have access to more finger technique. So, all right.